just all excited.
Okay.
I love budgets, okay? Okay. So this is the proposed budget. There are some changes and there are things that I want to talk about. Most of it is just standard, like the interest on loans, we look at our actual loans to go off of that. Interest on investments are on our actual investments. And we do a really conservative, I think it's 3.75% return. Since I've been here, we've always gone above and beyond that.
That's a pretty conservative, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Payroll, I just kept it the same as last year.
Before you go to that note, what's the other income that you gotta jump in
So
from?
the other income is, that's bad debt recovery. And last year we didn't include the Marcy LP, and it's supposed to, because we wrote off Marcy LP something forever, a long time ago. And that wasn't included, so that's why it's showing.
Okay, so that's just all of it, they're rolling in it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then are you doing new loan fees?
Yeah, and there's
And late payments, right?
yes.
Okay.
So there's a little bit more that's included this year than previous years.
Yeah.
Our health insurance, the insurance opt-out, dental and vision still on there. So those things also didn't change from last year. Life insurance did go up a little bit. Disabilities went up a tiny bit. Office equipment, again, I just kept it as the same. There is still more stuff that we have to eventually buy. Like Joy really needs to find herself a new desk so she can stop hitting her legs on it.
No, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine.
And then the biggest one is at the very bottom is the rent assistance grant. So that's just something I wanted to talk to you all about that I would like to do. So we've done the rent assistance program in the past. We've done it twice, one out of our own pocket, one with the DRI, and it's always been for new businesses. But I would like to see us do a short little program, so like a 6-month program for existing businesses, those that have been in business for 5 years or longer. Because right now I do feel like we're seeing a lot of existing businesses. It's like after coming out of COVID and all of the changes in the last few years, we're starting to see a kind of a struggle. And we are in the financial position to do some grant work. And on here it says 4, but it would be 5. So I'd like to do 5 grants for 6 months, and it would be the same where it's $1,000, up to $1,000 or 50% of the rent. I don't know what anybody's thoughts are on something like that.
Do they have to be a customer of LDC or?
No, it just has to be a for-profit business. It does not have to be one of our clients.
Like a small business? Is there I guess what's the criteria for
So we would do, the criteria would be very similar to what we did before. So it'd be targeted towards the small businesses.
But you want them to be in business 5 years or more?
Yes, 5 years
or
or more.
So if it's somebody that in the last 2 or 3 years opened, they wouldn't qualify.
Correct.
Do you have anybody targeted? I mean, any thoughts come to mind as potential?
Yes.
Okay.
The ones that I have in mind are like the Lincoln Loft, because again, they've reached out a while ago and were just asking if we had any programs, and that's really what sparked it. And because they just said with the rent, and it is getting increasingly harder. However, I feel like they're crucial to downtown because of the event space that they have, and I mean, we've utilized it many times. Again, Sweet Hollow Bridal, Recrease, Bike Studio are 3 just quickly off the top of my head.
Well, the one thing I would say is that I think, yes, it's a good program, and I like the fact that it might be 5 or so businesses in the downtown area.
Yeah.
Versus some that are on outliers. But because I know the occupancy cost for some of the downtown space since COVID has really escalated, so I often wondered how some of these small businesses were going to be able to sustain that. Now, I'm not saying this may give somebody creativity and time to say, okay, how can I augment it? Because this is only a short program.
Yeah.
So, but it could give them that a period of time to introduce something new to their business model that they need that period of time to stabilize it and ramp it up. So.
And my thought process was that if we opened it up for applications, say the beginning of like December, but obviously it won't start till 2026. It's that first 6 months of the year when I feel that most of these businesses are really struggling.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I know like the cost of, like Sweet Hello Bridal, their rent, I mean, we know their rent's gone up, I know Recrease has gone up. So it's just, when I hear these things and then I'm like, okay, what, and I look at our financial position and I'm like, okay, we're doing really well financially, so if we can give back, it doesn't have to be 6 months, it can be more, it can be less. I was just thinking that at least the first 6 months of the year would be a great thing for a lot of these businesses. Again, $1,000, you know. So our agency is like, okay, it doesn't seem like it's that much, but for these small businesses,
Yeah.
1,000 is a
What
lot.
would the application process look like? What would they have to provide?
So it's very similar to like the loan application.
Okay.
So it would be like their financials, their projections, and then I would like to know, you know, if they were to receive it, how would it change their business practice if it, you know,
What's the sustainability?
yeah, just because I don't want it to be, and the reason I thought also 6 months is it doesn't give them enough time to really start relying on the money.
Well, that's what's important, right?
Yeah, because we don't want them to rely on it, we just
Right.
want to, and before in the past, we've always done, you know, new businesses, which has been great, but we never do anything to congratulate, like
It-
making it 5 years is a big deal, so
Yeah.
if we have a way to say, hey, congratulations, here's some,
Yeah.
to help maybe do something different.
Yeah, I mean, I like I like it, and I like the fact that it's not a rigorous thing to go through, just simple application with some financials and, you know.
Yeah, and I would take a look at what we did for the DRI rent assistance. We still have that stuff. It wasn't anything crazy.
No, it wasn't, yeah.
But obviously it'd be a little
Well,
bit
this
different
is
for
better
businesses.
because this is 6 months, when we did those, if memory serves me,
It's
those
2
were
years.
2 years, so we were chasing people that didn't make it 2 years and we gave this money out and, so no, this is, I definitely like, the timeline on this, so, you know, it's more attractive, and I think you're right, the timing of the year would be also important and helpful to some of these businesses, so. I bet you'd have 5 people raise their hand pretty quick.
I would think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just from like our talks of going and talking to existing customers and, you know, even non-existing customers, I mean, right now it's a struggle, so.
I think it's very innovative, I like it. I do have 2 questions.
Okay.
The approval process, is that is that internal only, or does that involve the board?
So we, with the rent assistance program, it was a committee and then it went to the board level. So I would assume it would be, in my thought, it would be the same process that we did before. And people could
Yeah,
walk
it's not a
through.
lot of money, but it's enough where it should be approved by the
Yeah.
board.
And secondly, we cannot consider nonprofits, because you got a lot of nonprofit employers right around downtown.
So our last one was
Many of whom are
for-profit.
struggling with federal funding cuts and pauses in
Yeah.
funding and.
So I have to look into that if we can. I know before it was for-profit only, so that's why I just kept it as for-profit.
But that was a government structured program with government criteria, now
But
you're
even-
building something internal.
Even before that, so before we did it out of our own
On our
pocket,
own, yeah.
and that
That
was
was
also for-profit.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's a good question, though, I don't know, I guess that'd be
We've
a
got some
question.
significant nonprofit employers
Yeah.
who are gonna need a little bit of help while they reconfigure and figure out how to
That's true.
diversify their funding streams.
And maybe we
Yeah.
could do so many for-profit, and then maybe we could have so many earmarked for nonprofit.
Oh, the other thought is, as I'm sitting here listening to that, is could there be dialogue with the county and with the city, to see if there's some additional opportunity, if we're gonna commit this level of dollars, is there a matching commitment they can put to the table? And then it might allow you to have a little bit larger pool and open up the audience of recipients a little bit wider.
Yeah,
Nice
Yeah.
collaboration
As long
opportunity.
as we keep it under a certain level, so we don't have to do a single audit.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know, yeah,
Because
but,
that's what we did over at the IDA, or the LDC, and we
I was
had,
because we did
there
what?
was like
Yeah.
billions,
500
and so we had to
for-
have.
yeah.
I think
it
the
costs-
DRI program was like 500,000.
So,
Right,
yeah, it was
it-
500.
The threshold is 750,000.
750.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So-
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not
I mean,
bad.
if we're, I
Yeah,
mean,
but
we're
we
not,
passed
we're,
it.
yeah, we're talking about a 30 commitment, I mean, if the other 2 agencies could, or entities could put 30 at the table, you almost have $100,000, I mean, that's, you know,
Mhm.
No, I agree. And I just think that's anytime, like that's the whole process of like the Arrive Downtown website again is to help
yeah,
promote these businesses and like if we can do, when we have the ability to do it, I mean, might as well try
The
to.
only other one I would also talk to is the foundation, community foundation.
So that's a
I
good
wonder if they've got any pools of funds from stalwarts
That's
in
a
the.
good point. I feel like, remember the chamber, there was a chamber that closed down. It was a small, Dave Zembeck was part of it,
Mhm.
right? And their assets were rolled into a
yeah.
community foundation fund.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's publicized a lot. I think a conversation with Max would be really smart. They're gonna be more nimble, no, all due respect to the city and county, but they're so far into their 2026 budget development now, they're not gonna be
Yeah.
nimble, but you might line them up for 2027 if you dig this program, right? But I
That's
feel like
true.
the community foundation has more.
Yeah, 'cause I know
Stability.
the county, that everything requesting money from the county was due like a month ago, so.
Yeah, but you know what, and I appreciate that, but still, put the
Oh,
pressure
yeah,
on those
definitely,
guys,
yeah.
okay? Even though their budgets are done,
Worth a
there's a line
conversation.
item in there, I mean, we're not asking for a lot of money. We're asking for a small commitment for particularly, you know, again, I don't care how you wanna frame it, but I still like the whole downtown component because it helps encourage that occupancy that unfortunately, we're starting to see some vacant storefronts down here again,
Yeah,
so.
that's, as we.
JCIBA, can they be a partner in anything like this?
I don't think they're in a financial position to. I mean, I'll still talk to Marshall about it. But, and the other thing is
If you come up with a nonprofit component, we might be able to talk, but for United Way, it definitely has to have a it would definitely
Yeah.
have to be a nonprofit.
and I mean, I like the
component.
idea of doing, you know, splitting it, cause again, when I say that our numbers are conservative, like even for last year, it says 45,000, and what are we up right now for? I mean, last I checked, it was like 200,000 that we were actually up for this year so far.
Mhm.
So we definitely
Yeah, no,
have
the
the money
timing's
to,
good and.
we have the money to, you know, play with. I did increase our advertising and marketing,
Yeah, I
from
saw
10,000
that.
to 22,000. That's just because we really have been putting a lot of time and effort into marketing, and I feel that it has been working. We had a great response to our mugging initiative. That's still ongoing. I would like to do the fire department next year. That's my goal.
Plus, you're getting a little bit of revenue to offset some of those activities
Yes.
with sponsorships,
Yes.
so.
Which we were able to
Yeah.
cover over half of
Yeah.
it for this
Yeah.
last one with sponsorships.
Yeah, which is great,
I
and
think
you
that's
keep
smart,
doing that, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I would also think about as we go into 26, you know, we look at that investment account, we get some revenue off that
Mhm.
based on the return, and I know we're our conservative approach to it. But just sitting here thinking, you know, we've a way to maybe utilize that investment tool a little bit differently than we have historically is talk to Cyril and see. I know at one time we had talked about, I think it's going back to the COVID timeframe, if we got into cash flow situation.
A line of credit.
A line of credit against it, but my thought is, when we look at some of these 20-year extensions of credit, maybe we hedge it against that investment account instead of the funds we have in our, you know, putting up for loan. We know it's gonna be there for a long time, it's gonna spin a return, we're gonna pay. They might pay a little bit different rate to borrow our money, which is okay, but we utilize that pool in a roundabout way rather than dip it, and that could open up the door. As you start to advertise more and do different things, my only concern is, where's the liquidity gonna come from when people come knock? Cause eventually people will start knocking at the door again. And we're gonna be in a situation where, hey, how do we do it? Do we just keep draining that investment account? Or do we maybe match it, our loan against that investment account?
Yeah, as of right now, so all of our closings that we've had, so like we've funded prior to last month ending, we've funded Treehouse is actually closing this month. But like we were able to do that out of our bank account. I'm pretty sure when the Globe closes, that's gonna be fully out of our bank account. So we are in a good financial position where we have not had to touch our investments this year at all. No. And been able to continue doing our normal operation while increasing marketing. So, I mean, I don't really have too much of a concern about, I mean, we're doing the right things right now. We've slowed down lending a little bit to increase our investment accounts. Because
Right.
when I first started, Kim was like, oh, there was like one every couple months. That has never been the case since I've been here. We've always had a lot of loan closings. Thankfully, we have started to slow down. 2020 just ramped it up. But so I don't really feel like we have too much of a concern of where we would be. The interest rate, what we would have to charge would be what would concern me for if we had to do some type of line of credit with the investments.
Just food for thought, I think as we start to see
But I
what's
think it's a great
happening
option.
regionally, you know, if things do take place in some of our contiguous counties, we might see some spillover here, and I think you just wanna be kind of prepared. I'm not saying we have to execute it, but just
know what our
understand what our options are. So
No, I think it's a
that,
good idea to at least know what
Yeah.
we can do in case
Yeah.
we need to.
cause if things start to really evolve regionally around here and we start to see some residual from that, we wanna be in a position to be able to support that activity.
Yep.
But otherwise, I think that's a great program.
Yeah, and I said, I mean, yeah, there was the increase in the advertising. We're still very, extremely low compared to most agencies like ours. But that's because we're also coming from zero, so like we're slowly getting there.
Is this 2025 last year's budget, or
Yes.
is that year to date?
That's the last year's budget.
Okay, and do you know how we compared to our actual year to date?
Joy?
I don't have.
That's okay.
Pull it
Just
up.
curious.
I feel like it's
I
good.
can
the last time
actually
we
pull
looked
it up
better
if
last
you
year.
want.
I feel like you're in very good.
Yeah, I was trying to think the last financial report.
And I'm saying we just got our investment entries back this morning, so we don't have our,
I don't
Okay,
have.
But
it.
you have to
I
learn
don't.
this.
We'll have that
Sarah's
compare,
slides
we'll have that
January
compare
first.
next week when we get to the board
Right.
meeting though.
Okay.
We'll
Oh,
certainly
yeah.
have- I mean, that's a good question, but we'll
Yeah.
certainly have that
Yeah.
data at that point.
But you just said you're showing a 200,000 plus surplus
yeah.
in expenses, revenue minus expenses, so, yeah.
Yeah, because when I was doing the budget, I'm like, wow, like, we really are very conservative. Because obviously you can't ever depend on what the interest on investments are going to be. The only thing we can kind of depend on for the most part is the interest on loans.
Yeah, without the investments, it looks like we're at 209, and I have not entered the investments yet. So,
The one thing to remember is the integrity we've had in the loan portfolio too, though. If we- Looking for you.
Trying to listen. Anyways, can't don't be nosy.
But yeah, so that's the good news on that too, is we haven't had to take a lot of write-downs.
Yeah.
We've been very fortunate. But,
I think it's a good sound budget, and I like that you've built some innovation in here.
who leads this committee? Me? Or
I
is-
think it's you.
Okay, but you can present next week at the board meeting. You've done a good job on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem presenting the
Yeah.
budget. Speaking of you come off our board this year, so give me thoughts on a. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Who,
We want a motion.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, this we want.
I'll
Make a motion to approve.
Wait. Okay, I'm sorry, what are we motioning to?
To take this to the
Approving
board.
budget
Okay.
To the board.
Dawn?
Dawn
No,
first,
second.
Christine second.
Okay. And then,
We're
We
making
can-
Mike find his successor.
yeah,
Isn't that
so,
always the way?
okay, 9:09, we could end the meeting.
And the meeting?